Like I check Reddit daily.
First mistake.
It's a dark place, though. It's a dark place.
Yeah, of course it is. And people, loads of times people complain about like, yeah, this doesn't have no riffs. Like, when did we ever have, dude? When did we ever had riffs? We are a breakdown band. We like breakdowns. We're in this for the breakdowns. That's what's fun about deathcore. It's the breakdowns.
Welcome to the Brutality podcast. My name is Dom, and I just have a few things to shout out before diving into today's episode. First, I wanted to mention that we have a Discord server. If you want to stay up to date with everything podcast related, that is the place to be. But also, if you want to be a part of a community of like-minded people who are looking to just talk about and discover deathcore, whether that be old or new, all that happens over in the Discord server. Also, if you want to help support the show, we now have a Patreon. Some of the perks include early access to episodes, your name in the credits, being the first to know about our upcoming guests, member-only channels in our Discord, and so much more. All of that on Patreon. Also, we have some merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs that we are very excited about. You can go and find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to see the unfiltered, unedited versions of these episodes, that is where we do it. So links to all of that down in the description wherever you are watching or listening. That's all I have to plug. Thank you for listening and enjoy this episode. Alan, my man, how are we doing? Welcome to the show. What's good, man?
Hello. Glad to be here. Hi, guys.
Dude, I mean, you start with like a plus 5,000 points of aura just because of your shirt. Honestly, I'm not kidding.
There we go.
No, but seriously, it's like. It's to me, it's like, even if I wouldn't even know you, I would be like, okay, I love that person. You know, we're the same. Here's my people.
my people.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's how it should be. It's called The Gathering for a reason. You know?
There we go.
It works. So.
Oh yeah, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This has been a little bit of a long time coming. You know, we had the asshole Renee on here not too long ago.
Yeah,
we had to space it out. You know, we had to.
I have problems with this guy. Yeah, I have problems.
Yeah, I figured. I think we all do, right?
I mean. Yeah,
I think there's a problem if you don't. Yeah, but you guys have also just been generally busy and like touring a ton. Been doing a bunch of stuff all over the place. Yeah, you guys just got back from Australia and Asia, right? Which is kind of fucking crazy.
That's correct. First time there, and it was amazing. Like, completely blew the expectations out of the water. And a lot of traveling, grueling a little, but 100% worth it. Like, every single second of it. I finally got to see a koala.
Oh, there we go. Did you get the picture at least? I didn't see a picture online.
They've been all sleeping, so I just got a picture like from a distance. No pun intended.
That's okay. Okay.
And I'm guessing people were really grateful, right? Because, like, obviously in those places, there's not as many tour. Like, it's harder for people to tour.
Yeah,
there.
Absolutely.
They were probably so stoked to see to see you guys and being like, oh my God, they're here. It was kind of the feeling of the crowd?
It was absolutely perfect. Like, in every city we played, whether it was Thailand, Australia, China, or Japan, everybody was like super grateful, and it was all amazing, like genuine happiness coming from the people. So yeah, 100%. Like, they gave us 100, we gave them 100. So hell yeah.
No, that's sick. Because like, I've seen, like, every time I see pictures or like videos and stuff, like, I'm kind of amazed also of like how big your crowds can be per moment. Like, I was just like, dude, that's huge. I would see like Renee's drum can or whatever, and I was just like, what is happening? You know, like, it feels like your crowds are getting bigger and bigger. You know, it's super cool.
Yeah, it's slowly building up, and I mean, we've been doing this for years, and it's finally showing the fruit of the labor, and that the grind never stops, and
Yeah,
never will.
That's right. Yeah, that's when the real work starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And I mean, I'd love to kind of touch, because yesterday you put out some music, not with this team,
yes.
you put out some music. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because that just candidly, the bass boosts on this music,
yeah.
I haven't heard in a minute, and I am all for it. So can you talk to us a little bit about the project?
Yeah, it's just like a fun bedroom project with a guitarist from other band I have, and we've been like let's just make slam EP just for the shit of it, and we just did. Like, I recorded the whole EP, you could call it, in like 10 minutes.
Wow, you just ripped through it.
Yeah, exactly. And we just been like, yeah, like let's put some like local memes in it and just make fun, and it's like a time killer sort of thing. But yeah, I'm glad to release this because it's just dumb.
Yeah.
But it works though, like, because at least I know it's an opinion thing, but like to me, your vocals matches really well, like the slam. You know what I mean? Like your lows and everything, like it would work very well. I always thought like it does. So when I heard that, I was just like, yeah, it makes absolutely total sense, you know. So
yeah.
And it's because it's not for everybody too, right? Like depending on the vocals and stuff like that on you need kind of a specific, and it works like perfectly well.
Glad to hear that. Thank you so much.
There's like a million samples in these like 3 songs, and
exactly.
You just alluded to like some local lore and memes, I guess. Is there something that stands out to you that you know us English speakers can't understand that's kind of funny, that sticks out?
There's like one movie quote throughout it. It's from a Dutch movie that has been dubbed in Slovak, and it's the first dub movie I seen that used such a colorful palette of curse words. So we've been like, okay, like let's just use this. And then there's like 3 like local rap songs over it. We just made them slam, and some, I don't even know. It was just some YouTuber drama going on or some influencers shit. And we were just like, yeah, this sounds hilarious. Like, let's just use this.
Like people like dogging on each other type of thing?
Yeah, something like that. It's like just dumb shit.
Oh, that's funny, dude. But man, look, if people can take note on the bass boost, like I said, man, that's we need more people to bring that shit back. I know the revival scene, like the deathcore revival stuff has been dabbling in it. We've gotten some cool stuff, but the way they're used on this music, like sure, it has the word bass in it, but it has to have the insane amount of highs, like before going low, like completely crushing the mix. We need more of that.
Yeah, we just wanted to make something for fun, and we don't aim to like break the industry or make fans. It's just like, hey, here's this, it's dumb, and listen to this.
But you know what, the funny thing about that is often with this intention, people latch onto it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh my God. But the fact that you're just having fun, the pressure is completely off, and it's basically all your, it just comes out, right? Your creative side, everything you do. So you never really know. Like there's actually a lot of actual band at the moment who started like that. So I'm just, you know, you never know.
That's basically what happened like with my other band that I'm in, and it started as a gimmick. It still is a gimmick. We just did one song where I heard the track for the first time as I was recording it, completely freestyle, just talking shit, and suddenly it popped off, and we could sell like 300 to 400 tickets over here. So it's like, what's going on? Like I'm just here cursing at the mic, spewing random words, and it's working.
Oh, it's funny, man. I'd actually that kind of segues, like you talk about like selling, a lot of tickets where you're from specifically, but I'd love to, if we kind of bring it to distant, I always kind of wondered, because you guys are so kind of spread out and so far apart, is there like the equivalent of a local show for you guys? Is it local shows in all the cities where you guys are? Is there like an HQ? Like, how does that kind of work?
I would say like Netherlands is like the HQ, is like the local. Like I'm the only one who's not from there, so so it kind of makes it like a home country for us to play, and it definitely shows. Like the Dutch shows, recent years picked up, multiple new bands picked up, and it's really great to play home. With it's not my home, but it kind of is now. Like after those. Nearly 10 years with the band, so it definitely feels like home when we're playing there.
Right, you feel the love of the crowd, like you're included in that, even though you're not like specifically from there.
Right.
You can always kind of feel like when you're surrounded by a bunch of friends, even though it's not necessarily like your specific friends, or maybe you've made friends throughout the years, right? But it's not like your family, necessarily that's there. But you can still feel it when it's, a homey vibe at a show versus
right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Random. That's cool, man. So what about man, you guys have been so fucking busy. So you guys put out the kind of like half, re-release of the original EP with some extra songs, with a bunch of featurings, all that good stuff. How's
Correct.
How's that been for you guys? How's the reception been to
It's
the revamped songs with some cool features and all that kind of stuff? Like, what was the process behind it?
Well, we thought, especially like since it's like the first release with it together, we felt like we should give it some redoing and make up-to-date sound, do some bits a little different, and we want to refresh that for new fans that don't really stumble upon that old release, so to bring that release to the light it deserves. And then we also decided like, okay, like let's make it a full thing, since like so far all our albums are conceptual. Let's make it worth the listen and add those extra songs, make it a full album where it will be still in context and concept of the album, to shed more light on the story and everything.
How was that to kind of like revisit? I know like all the albums are kind of under the same, like universe, right? Like it's kind of like a singular lore, but how was it to go back to the EP songs, and then with the new songs kind of expand on that? Like how was that?
It was pretty refreshing, because like the whole EP is basically the first part of the story that we started kind of dipping into in the middle, based on the albums. So that's why we wanted to give people a prologue of why is this happening, what's going on, what's the backstory behind certain characters and such. So it was really refreshing, and kind of like okay, people can now finally understand some things and what happened. So
right, which I guess the origin, that's kind of where that comes in.
Exactly.
Sorry,
and it's a good thing, because you see so many bands kind of, they're tired of playing like their old material. They don't want to even talk about it. You know what I mean? Like you see that kind of often, which don't get me wrong. I understand their point of view also. They want to move on. But from the point of view of a fan, it's always so cool to see when like your favorite band or like a band that you like still, care about their previous material and what they did in the past, So I think there's that too.
I mean, that's the same thing, basically, that nostalgic feeling that that gets you, like with games and like with movies. You get remasters, remakes, whatever. And I would always pick up a game that I loved 20 years ago and get remastered. And this is kind of it, with extra steps. Like, it's not just a remaster. It's like, we didn't want to do like 1-for-1 remaster. That's why we we did it this way to give people more, and not just like, hey, here is basically a remix, 5 songs and do whatever. No, like here is old songs in a new code, basically.
There's some more like electronic elements added in and like orchestration and stuff that wasn't like originally in the songs, right? Which was my, before diving into the album was kind of my thing. I was like, how are the new songs that are being added to this thing going to, like, are they going to feel vastly different than, or are they just going to write the new songs as in the original kind of quote unquote style, so it matches that way? Like, how does that work? But you guys really just kind of brought those old songs to like a modern, like more akin to what modern, like recent album, like heritage, kind of sounding distant, which I thought was a really cool thing, because then you listen to the whole thing and you wouldn't really be able to tell like which one was an old song or not if you didn't know, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of cool.
That was the whole idea, basically, to not give you the same thing and not stagger the evolution of the band.
Mm-hmm. Right, because you also, I guess some people do play on that. Like you talk about nostalgia and stuff. Some people will just kind of go back to, okay, let's do the old thing, and not really touch it much, because that's what people kind of latch on to. But it is a risk, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the old thing is still there, and you can listen to it.
That's what I always say. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. So
why there's no point.
Why give you the same thing twice?
Makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. Because people, we know what it is, right? It's like, it's one of those things. It's like, if you redo kind of the same thing, there's some people who's going to be happy with it. But like, if you redo it in a new way, there's all these same people are going to be, I wish it was like that. But they would have probably complained either way. So it's just like, at this point, just do it how you want to do it. I think.
Yeah, there's always people who are going to complain, like, you can't please anybody. Or everybody, more so.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a thing in music, period. You know what I mean? Like, even if tomorrow, like, let's say Bring Me the Horizon would do like a deathcore album, but even if people have been asking for it for like 15 years, a lot of those people would be like, oh, I don't know. Like, they would find things to complain with. Oh, no, I don't know about that. And this. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. You need to do it for yourself. And
the old scene quote still stands true. Haters makes me famous. So
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's still publicity. It still gets people to talk anyway. So
they're talking about it.
Like when it reaches people. Some might not like it. Some might not. Some might. Some people are like, okay, this guy said it sucks, so it should suck. And some might be like, okay, this guy said it sucks, but I like it. I don't care about other guys' opinion. Like, everybody is free of their own opinion. Like, okay, you don't like the new music, you don't like the new sound, you don't like that, you don't like this. Okay, that's fine. But we are a band that enjoys playing what we do. And in the end, like, we want to play whatever the fuck we want. Like, that, what's fun for us. Like, we're not in this for money and fame. We are in this for the fun of it, for the fucking breakdowns. Like, I check Reddit daily.
First mistake.
People,
it's a dark place, though. It's a dark place.
Yeah, of course it is. And people, loads of times people complain about, like, yeah, this doesn't have no riffs. Like, when did we ever have, dude? When did we ever had riffs? We are a breakdown band. We like breakdowns. We're in this for the fucking breakdowns. That's what's fun about deathcore. It's the breakdowns.
Yeah, but again, you would change for example, you would change things. You would do less breakdowns, and you would have other people saying, oh my God, they used to have so many breakdowns, and then they changed. So it's like, no matter what you do is the point that I'm,
Exactly. Like, as I said, you can't please everybody. And first thing you have to do and realize is that you're the only one who's going to be playing it live, or who's going to be living with your creation. So you should be satisfied first place.
It's gonna be a long career if you hate your songs, that's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Brutality Podcast is sponsoring the Self-Care Others Harm tour, which is a Thus Spoke Zarathustra album release, full USA tour featuring a crazy amount of amazing bands in the revival scene as regional supports. Bands on the run include Surfaced, Slamwich, Lilith's Demise, In Which Divides Us, Mauled, Brain Injury Unit, and Delilah. So incredibly stacked lineup. If you want to check out the full dates as well as venue information and what bands play where, head on over to brutalitypodcast.com/TSZ tour or hit the link in the description. And now just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. Pre-order the new Signs of the Swarm album to rid myself of truth today. Pre-order limited edition colored vinyl alongside CDs and merch over at www.indiemerchstore.com. The first single, Hell Must Fear Me, is streaming everywhere right now, so be sure to check it out. Also, Cattle Decapitation has a killer new spring merch drop. Pick up windbreakers, cross body bags, tees, and patches from the band over at indiemerchstore.com. Remember, you can always use the code BRUTALITY at checkout to save yourselves 10% off your entire order. Helps support the show as well as save you guys a little bit of money in the process. So a huge thank you to Indie Merch Store for sponsoring this episode. And now back to the show. Speaking of kind of having some fun with it, can we kind of dabble into the art of making books? Because that's like a pretty fairly unique thing for a band to do, and I'm assuming you guys aren't doing that one for the money either. It seems to be more of a passion thing, but can you kind of walk us through doing the books and kind of that process?
It originally started like as a cheat sheet for lyrics, like to have themes to what to write about and all that. Mm-hmm. And as it got bigger and bigger and bigger, we even just like, hey, like let's just sit down on this and make it a book. Like, we are doing a conceptual thing, so why not give context to people so they can actually know like what is it about, like the names I say there and everything. It's like people could be like, who the fuck is that and that, and then it's like, okay, there's a book I can read it and figure out. And I think it's a cool thing. Like, me and Elmer like read a lot, of course, and it was like, okay, like this will be cool. Like, in the end, we are a deathcore band, and how can we stand out? Like, we have a conceptual album. Other bands have conceptual albums as well, but if you give something more to people, it makes it more how you say it, what's the word, intriguing, or people be more invested in the lore itself. So, and yeah, as I like lore in general, like reading books and everything, and dabble into like deep with beneath the surface of whatever's going on, whether it's something I'm watching or whether it's something I'm playing. So you're the one watching the 50-hour lore videos on YouTube. Okay. Exactly.
Just to be clear. Yeah.
So to have this in music, I never ever seen this, so it's like, this could be really cool.
I think it also and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what's cool about it too is it creates kind of, when you read a book or you watch, I know you love animes too, right? So when you watch a season, you're waiting for the next one or for the next manga to, and you just cannot wait. It's not something that we're used to in music. People are usually waiting for the music itself, just like, but with your lore, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are curious to know what's going to happen, like lore-wise, story-wise, and stuff like that, which adds another layer as opposed to just the music and stuff like that. Which the irony, right? They can say, oh, they're just playing breakdowns, but there's so much thought into it, right? Like there's another extra layer. So I think there's just to add to what you said, I think there's this.
Yeah, the extra layer is a perfect word for it.
Thank you. It's very rare that somebody tells me that I use the perfect word in English. I'm gonna take this one.
You take the W's when you get them.
Yes, I'm taking it.
There we go.
It just makes me really happy. So there it is. No, but it's cool for real. It's really cool. The attention to details, the care and everything is awesome. Honestly,
it's kind of ironic too, though, the concept of writing more to then have ideas for making it easier for lyrics, right? You're writing more to write less.
Exactly.
The initial idea. And then how's the reception been? I'm curious, because then you guys went on to do like 2 more, so I'm assuming people fuck with it, right?
I think the first 2 are already sold out, and the third one, which is the most recent one, is really like running low. So firstly, we've been like, okay, this is a risk, because like you can't order a 50 or 100 books. So like we've been, okay, this might be risky, but it had a slow start because people didn't really realize that what the book is. They didn't really know. So that's how when we started like drip feeding the Lord to people like online and stuff like that, so they actually notice that, okay, like this book is not some just 20 songs written down in a book or some biography or something like that, because that's what we get a lot of time at the merch table. Like, what's this book? Like, is it a biography or something? Just like, no, like that's the story behind it. And then I open it, show them 180 pages of words, and it's like, okay, like this is new. So people started getting more into it, and I love it.
You should tell them that it's an actual biography, and then they would be really confused when they start, when they start
I mean, if you tell them that, people are maybe expecting like it's a photo book of like photos you've already seen online, or
exactly.
ripped some photos off Facebook and called it a day. But no, man.
Yeah.
And especially in a world where everything is digital, right? Like I feel like a lot of us are and I'm saying a lot of us, but like I've been seeing a lot of like actual young people who seeks more like physical items because there's none anymore. So like they think that stuff is cool. That's why we see all these collections of CDs and vinyl and stuff like that. So adding a book to it is really I think it's smart. It's a good
like we could have done it just like an ebook. Like we still have an ebook available, but for me, even like reading comics, manga, or whatever it is, I just don't want to stare at the phone or some device again, and the feeling of like turning the pages by yourself and stopping whenever you want, reading it whenever you want without battery dying out or something like that, and the smell of the paper.
Oh yes,
it's awesome.
Having it on your shelf. I
always prefer
too,
this. Exactly. Yeah. Like I will always and forever pick this over anything digital.
It's not the same feeling. It's really hard to describe, but there's just. It's a complete different feeling, like I mean, when we started, I was talking about Magic, and it might be a weird example, but like the feeling of playing with someone with actual cards, or just like the app on your phone or something, it's not even close, like the smell, the freaking card, the way it is, the building of your deck,
everything,
the dices and everything, like as opposed to it's cool, the app is cool, don't get me wrong. But it's really cool actually, but it's not the same as
I only play online like Magic when I'm on the go, or when I really need to like scratch that ick. But even like when I'm playing online, I'm playing over Spell Table, where you play with actual cards, so nothing beats that.
Okay, so wait, do you bring a deck on tour usually?
Every time, 3 decks every time, at least 3 decks.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard, I think, in my entire life. But okay, so I need to ask, and not to get, I don't want. I'm sorry, people. I'm a nerd, but like, are we talking Commander or Classic? I just need to ask.
Commander.
Okay, people are paying Commander. I need to get. I'm still the guy who's like have Classic. I need to get on Commander. Really.
Yeah, like I started with Commander. I tried to dabble into like Modern and Standard, and it's just like it changes too much, and there's. I feel like Commander is more accessible to new players as well, and that's how I got together with my play group as well. That I used to play Pokemon professionally, so
what? You cannot just say that and not expand on that. By the way, like we're gonna have to talk about that. It's insane. What? Sorry, professionally Pokemon?
Yeah. But I stopped last year, and then I picked up Magic.
Okay.
So yeah, like I was playing like competitively Pokemon a lot, and like the TCG, and then I dabbled into Magic, and I was like, okay, this is sick, way better, and the community is more welcoming. So I'm like, okay, this is where I be, and then I hang my Pokemon career.
Made more sense, right? It just made more sense.
It definitely feels like as I started playing competitively, the hobby turned into something else, and I didn't really have the joy of it anymore. And it was just frustrating. And after like international championships, I just told to myself like, this is dog shit. and I stopped playing for a while, and then I found Magic as I was actually recording this last album, and I was like, this is so cool, and it feels really nice. And I don't play this competitively, I just play it for fun with friends, and it's more relaxed, so that's why I stayed.
Yeah, it's less about everyone using the same two meta decks, and
exactly, like the Pokemon meta became so toxic that like even on the internationals, like I lost hard because there were some weird ass control decks that he would put out the first card at the beginning of the game, and I could technically just shake his head, shake his hand and say goodbye because it made no sense to play. So, and that's where I was like, okay, this is not fun at all. And I traveled here, I spent a lot of money to be on this championship, and just to face these decks or whatever, I was like, damn, this is sad.
Yeah, which is different with Magic, though. I gotta say, like, I'm not saying like there's very frustrating stuff that you can do in Magic, but I'm just saying at least there's some sort of like regulations in terms of like when something is too strong or whatever, like a pass card or whatever. Like, there's a lot of rules of just like, okay, that's unusable. Now you need to use that. They're making it a little more. There's always a way to get out of a situation. Is what I'm saying.
Like, there's so many options. Like with Pokemon meta, there's like rotation of 5 decks that's like worth playing, and it's all about just a coin flip matchup. Like, if you go first, you might win.
And it's cool. Also, I see a huge connection because you were talking about like, you know, the books and the care and the lore and everything. So like Magic, you know, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm picturing a distant, you know, album cover, and that's up the Magic alley for sure.
I mean, I dabbled into Magic when I think it was Chaos and Carnage, the first US tour. And Matt from Angel Maker showed me like Magic because like I was into Pokemon. I was always getting Pokemon cards, and he would be getting Magic. And I found the Phyrexians really cool. And that's like my number one faction in Magic. And that's what actually later on inspired Heritage as well. Like, you can see the resemblance of like the reds and whites and everything. Like, it's like Phyrexians, bit of Phyrexians, bit of makers from Doom, and That's
Oh, cool.
and ever since I found Magic and everything about it, all these cards and the lore behind, I'm like, okay, here goes my inspiration again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, speaking of lore, right? That's like heavily
Exactly.
lore pilled if we're talking card games for sure.
The artwork too, right? Like all my life, I've been obsessed with Magic because like I was introduced to Magic. I think I was like 7 without speaking in the English. All the cards it made no sense. So I didn't last super long because of that. But like I think a big part of the appeal is that as well, right? Like
it's metal as fuck for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. It's like the guy who did our covers for the past 2 releases, Lordigan Pedro. He, I think it was in Magic Foundations, like set from like February this year or something like that, last year. He did some artworks on cards over there, and I was like, hey, this guy did our album, like that's so sick. So I immediately had to get these cards. It's some common cards that are really like not expensive or something, but still it holds a special place for me because like, hey, we worked with this guy for so long, and now I have a card that I can actually I play some of these cards in my decks just because of that. Like that's they're not even that cool. They're not even that good.
The card is actually bad, and he's like, I'm using it.
It's like there's better cards, but I'm like, that's my guy.
That's so sick. That's so cool, man.
I mean, you guys were doing this like giveaway of like a Magic card on tour as well. I saw that when I was scrolling through some stuff. What was that all about?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like the fun thing with Magic is like, especially like in the community when you're like not playing competitively, are the proxies that people just make any cards that is like in Magic and just make it fun for themselves or make it look cool or stuff like that. So that's how we basically approached it, and it was like, yeah, like let's do this.
And then you guys had like a limited stock. What was it? If people had pre-ordered the album, or
just show a pre-order and you'll get the card. And it's like an actual card that's playable. So it's nothing like, you play this card, you win the game or something like that. Like, I actually like run some of these cards in my decks. Like that was also like the first incentive. Like when I was picking like what cards should we do? I was like, well, I kind of need this, so let's do this.
So the full stock didn't go to the fans. That's what I'm understanding here.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of segue out of this, but you know, I saw that
we would be here for too long.
But look, it's still
for too long if we keep talking Magic.
Still related. That's why I mentioned a segue. Okay. Like, y'all got some Pokemon and Magic cards stolen on tour, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Among other things, of course, but yeah.
What was and that was like, can you kind of walk us through that? Because that was like, from what I was reading, that was like the second time you guys got robbed on that one tour, and this was like last day of tour. Yeah,
like I was actually like reminiscing on this on the way home today, and I was like, that tour was absolutely fucking cursed. Like first day as we arrived at the venue, we got a fine for parking. Okay, our fault, whatever. Next day we go out of the city to go to the next show. Trail attire blue. I was like, okay, it's Sunday. Where do we find a fucking tire? Like, fortunately it was in my city, so I made my rounds. We found a tire.
Someone's backyard, or
it was
stole it off a car.
Old ass tire. Like it was bad. Like, but it served its purpose. And then we went like probably like a day and a half. We had a music video shoot that same day as the tire blew, so we've been like 3 hours late. That night, as we've been going to a show overnight, 3 a.m. on a highway, the same tire blew again. So like, great, on a highway. So we had to get our vehicle towed. wait till the morning, get a replacement. We got a replacement, and it was fine for like 3 days. And then on the way from another show, trailer, not on a trailer, tire blew on the RV itself. So it's like, this is cooked. Like what is going on here?
They gotta put a few extra tires in the trailer.
Yeah,
just
like,
to be
fortunately, again, it was like during a day off, so we've been stranded somewhere in Czech Republic until like 1 a.m. till somebody came to check on it and say like, okay, like I need to like the tire disc actually got like broken. So no, we got the flat tire in Poland. We got that tire fixed. Couple hours later, it blew again.
but
because
the
disc was
yeah.
so they took the tire, welded it so we can drive something at least. So we finished the drive, play a show, immediately go a detour back through my city where I already called my cousin like, hey, could you go pick these tires up for us and meet us here? Then we changed the tire and went 8 hours into Italy. We arrive, guys went to a swimming pool because like to chill and all that, and we've been with 2 RVs, and yeah, one RV got broken into, money gone, and I was like, this is awful. Like, it's a fucking streak. Next day, we find
that was a joke from Jan, but
yeah, I was making a joke, but there's actually something else.
Next day, we find in our RV, like in the cutlery shelf or whatever, there was like a voodoo doll, and I was like, this is wild. So guys immediately threw it away, and ever since it was smooth sailing for like next 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. And then second to last show, it was on my birthday. We went to McDonald's, grabbed our food,
on their birthday.
Got back. McDonald's was the best food on tour in Europe, not in States. In States, it's dog shit. And yeah, we go back, and I go around just to check on something, and because I smelled gas, so I checked like if the gas is leaking or something. It wasn't, but I see like our window pried open, and I was like, well, this wasn't here. So I got in, and all our stuff that was there was like, okay, it's gone, guys. And I was like, damn, yeah. So like it was mostly personal stuff, like the gear in a trailer, everything was safe, but it was like
it was like cameras and laptops and
cameras, cards and whatnot. And then like we had an AirTag on. We've been looking around the whole premises for like an hour, running around trying to see every bush, everything. And then the AirTag beeped like 5 kilometers away. So we immediately like went there, started looking again, found our bags. So obviously without any money, anything, like just clothes and passports. They've been kind enough to leave passports and keys inside. So I'm
okay,
like,
so
thank you.
some nice robbers here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a great end of a tour.
And what people don't understand too is that without any of this, touring itself is not easy. You know, it's super
100%.
exhausting. Like without all of that. So what I'm hearing is on top of touring, doing all of that, you basically had, with all of these things, you had no rest. Because you're constantly stressed for your actual rest, I'm guessing, was actually when you were at a show and you could perform, was just like, we finally kind of have a break of all this, right?
Yeah, like especially like this tour, it was grueling, like every day, like especially like the first week when we we wanted to have some chill days on the off days and enjoy a little bit of summer and all that. It was all just like me being on a phone constantly trying to figure things out, and everybody's just fucked because like, yeah, we're stranded for third time already this tour, and yeah, and that cherry on top at the end,
yeah,
bad.
Post tour depression is real, but that one probably hit a bit extra this time around.
Your first sentence on stage is you better buy some merch. you guys better buy. We made it. Got the merch table.
Yeah, but we haven't missed a single show on that tour, even though everything that happened, we played all the shows.
That's fucking insane.
Honestly, it would have been even understandable at that point where so many things, there's so many bands that would have been like, okay, we're like, you know, like we're out. It's too much. And honestly, it would have been understandable with these conditions and stuff like that. So just the fact that you kept pushing and just in case for people watching, like it's expensive changing these things, tires and like the time of people and stuff. So you're constantly paying, being anxious if it breaks again, right? You're rolling, but you're still stressing. You're like, please, can we make it type thing. So I think it's really cool that you guys still, push through and
it's make it or break it. That's the mentality in general.
I mean, you guys went through it. Was it your guys' first time in the US when you guys had a few members? Yeah. And then you guys picked up Jordan, right? Like last minute?
Yeah, correct.
From Breathing Process? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's another example of like, you guys didn't bail on any of those shows either, right?
Yeah. Like we've been like, okay, this is a big tour, big first tour. And it was 2 weeks away. Jordan was on tour at the time we asked him.
Yeah.
And he started practicing those songs on tour. We had a single practice before that. And even going into that tour, like we arrived in New York and they lost their baggage in Paris.
Oh.
And our former drummer's Insulin was in there. So it was like, this is awesome. Like, getting medication in US first day you arrive. So we had to go. We went to a pharmacy in Queens, and they still told us like, yeah, we can sell you that. You have to go to ER. So we went to the ER and waited there for 3 hours. Got the insulin for quite some buck, and then got back to the airport. Got picked up. Stayed in Jersey. We had like 4 extra days, fortunately. And the luggage was supposed to arrive next day, or firstly on the next flight.
Yeah.
The baggage didn't turn up until 2 days later, and we've been already in a van, engine on, 2 a.m., and this guy pulls up. Like, we needed to drive to Pittsburgh for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And to practice, and this guy pulls up at like 2:30 a.m., gives us our luggage, and we just bail.
Drove right up
instantly. Like, just okay, pedal to the metal. And and like after that it was all smooth sailing, fortunately. But yeah,
I mean, smooth sailing for a band with half their members not there, and with the fill-in and just playing as a 3-piece. I mean, smooth sailing with a big asterisk, but
but hey, you can't stop us. You can't.
No, that goes to that kind of speaks to your guys' mentality around the whole thing, right? And because again, as Yan just mentioned before, like a lot of people would have been like, okay, we can't do this. Like there's no solution to this, right? Like we are so fucked. We're just gonna fucking fly back home, Yeah. But like, it would have been cheaper to fly back home, if anything,
100%. And like it was just it was really a fortunate thing that even 2 of us got there, because like I was in States before, so my process of visa handling was way easier. Like I didn't have to go through so much shit, and I've been getting desperate, like how are we gonna make this? How are we gonna do this? Because like obviously going alone would be kind of ass.
Yeah.
And then I just posted a story like, do I have somebody over here at the embassy, like, who can help us out and all that? And so a friend of a friend reached out and it's like, yeah, my father is working at the embassy, so he can like push that one interview further and make it work. So we got the other visa like 3 days before the flight.
Jesus. Yeah,
It's
that's
insane.
crazy.
We had this
Yeah.
conversation a few times, but to me, it should be a bit, especially when you're a band, like it's something legit. Like there should be a way of just like maybe a third party or something that facilitates that. You know, like, oh, here's a band,
like
they're touring. Here's a license. Like you can just tour.
Yeah, like
when you
the thing
tour,
is,
you
this
know?
was really like early post COVID.
Yeah.
So everything was backlogged, and especially like in Netherlands. You have one embassy per country. So the whole of Netherlands, which is a big country and a big commute with states, the backlog was like 6 months. So the interview for the Dutch boys soonest was like 3 or 4 months later after the tour.
Yeah.
So
that's fucking insane, man. But I mean, post COVID, it was kind of crazy because, like you said, everything was backed up. Obviously, things I assume have gotten a little bit better, and they I
it's
assume
still
caught
hard.
up now. But
It's still
a
hard.
process, yeah.
It's still a tough process, and at least half a year plan ahead, bands.
Yeah.
At least half a year, and yeah, it's still a process, but definitely way easier now.
You we were talking a little bit about this before you hopped in, but you guys have toured the US quite a bit for an international band. I find you guys keep coming back. I'm assuming obviously you want to make the visa worth it at some point, right? But I'd love to kind of talk about like do you what are the differences between like touring in the US versus let's say Europe or the Netherlands? Like, do you have stuff you prefer around here or vice versa?
It's case by case. I would say like Europe is more chill in terms of traveling. But most of our fan base is in States, so it only makes sense for us to return. And the fans in States, because America is so big, there's so many places we haven't played. And over here in Europe, you can play as much. Like, it's still cool to play these places, and it's still nice to return there. But even if you check all the tours, all the tours that are happening
it's a summer
on the same similar size or whatever, same city, same venues. And in States, there's always something new. At least half the tour is something new. And also the fans are more open. What I feel like over here in Europe, it's really like grouped by a genre or whatnot. Like, you have only deathcore people going to deathcore shows. But in States, and like a certain age group, let's say. But in States, I first time witnessed like a guy in his 50s checking out our show, knowing about the band, knowing stuff behind the band, taking his son to a show and stuff like that. In Europe, it usually people in those ages are like, yeah, Slayer, and that's it. So I feel like in States, people are more open-minded towards metal as a general thing. Like, I'm going to a metal show, and it's not as frowned upon because I enjoy the music. I'm gonna go check this music, and I'm not going here to prove to someone that I don't fuck with deathcore or I fuck with deathcore. It's like, I'm going to a show. It's more easygoing, I would say.
Now, no one's yelling "Play Crazy Train" between songs.
Yeah.
That's cool. How is it like? How How's it in Europe, just like festival season and stuff like that? Because I feel like a lot of bands, like right now, like every single band in the world is fucking doing, about to go to do the festival stuff.
In Europe are something else. Like festivals are a Europe thing for sure, and you can see it. Like it's like I think we played only one festival in the US, and it doesn't even reach the heights of the festivals over here. And it's truly an experience because you have so many people who are genuinely enjoying it, and the whole vibe is immaculate.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that every day too, right? Like I think most people that do kind of like the Euro Fest season, it's like there's a festival going on every other day.
Basically,
so they go to do all those festivals kind of all at once. Either like the first half of the summer or like the end of the summer. There seems to always be kind of like two periods for the Euro festivals.
Yeah, like usually it's like June, July festivals, and then like August festivals.
Yeah.
And so far what I noticed, like the August festivals are more like the more metal ones are in August, like Brutal Assault, Summer Breeze, and all these.
Yeah.
And then more of like the mixed genres are in the first half of summer
and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it blends nicely all the genres together and creates a perfect bill every day. So it's really worth it. And yeah, just even the ones I mentioned are like really sick. The production around the festival is insane. Like all the festival activities, the whole vibe. Like for me, Brutal Assault is insane festival. It's at this old fortress.
Yeah.
And
the stage kind of looks on the fortress, right? It's kind of yeah.
Like you can go into the catacombs and they'll just give you a candle and nothing else, and you're just lost in the dark, roaming in this maze, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's cool.
It's cool. And the crowds too, like very often I'm going to make research for a band or whatever, like for a video I'm doing. And like you see like the usual crowd of a band, like in the US or whatever. And then they do like some sort of festival. And then I look and I'm like, okay, that's a different, like,
it's different. And I would say on every festival, the crowd is different, basically based on a festival you play. But yeah, like there's a lot of new people that you play to at the festival because they're already there, and especially a lot of people go to these festivals as their holiday. Like they don't like a vacation. Like they don't go
party kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like basically a recess for adults.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of like it's always gratifying to, let's say, do a headliner and everyone is kind of there for you type of thing. But I think a lot of you kind of want to always trade it off with the opportunities that get you in front of the most eyes possible, right? To get new fans and to get people, get in front of people that otherwise wouldn't be hearing about you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for you as a performer too, like we didn't really talk about that, but like, are you always the same mindset, same kind of nervosity, but or with these huge crowds, sometimes do you find yourself being like, oh my God, this is like another level type thing? Or
sometimes in the heat of the moment, you don't really realize, and then it hits you afterwards, and I'm like, oh shit, this was insane. But I remember this one moment when we went to Josefstadt. That was like a mini version, COVID version of Brutal Assault. Same place. So with Format Rammer, like it's like 3 hours away from us. So the guys drove in from Netherlands and we drove from Slovakia. And our car broke down.
Okay, this is a recurring theme here.
Yeah. So we managed to get something. We turned up 15 minutes before our set or something like that. So rushing first band of the festival, or second band of the festival. We rushed there, set up the drums, everything. I didn't have time to even look at the crowd, and when we arrived, there was like maybe 5 people. let's say, waiting. So I was like, okay, focus, let's do this, let's set this up. And then as we start set, I turn around and there's like sea of thousands of people, and I'm like, fuck. Like, when did this go here? How did this happen? And yeah, it was sick. Like, still the adrenaline rush from being so quick and smooth. And yeah, it was great. Like, for a moment I was like in shock that, oh, okay, put on the best show right now.
Not to get too technical, but for you specifically as a vocalist, like, do you usually kind of warm up for a while or do specific things and stuff like, or is it easy for you to just kind of switch?
I used to warm up, but now I don't really warm up at all.
Really? So you
I just go in, like, I might do a couple of grunts here and there just to like get into it. But especially on tour, I noticed, like, if I would warm up 30 minutes before the show, I would just kill the lifespan for that 30 minute, and I could feel my voice being tired. And I would be like, okay, like, I could have done that 30 minutes in the set instead. So I don't really like recommend this or something like that, but that's the thing that works for me. And especially like on the headliner we played recently, where we played a long set, it was like, if I did that 30-minute beforehand and then play a 50-minute set afterwards, I would be like, God damn, please end me.
It does make sense, though. It does make sense.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask. You mentioned, on the recent stuff, you guys played like Tokyo and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Did those like, Japan is kind of notorious for making bands do like an hour and a half long sets and shit like that.
That was China, actually. That was China. Like,
okay.
Yeah, we were the 3 Chinese shows were all one band bills. It was just us.
Oh my god.
And like when we've been in Australia, they told us like, hey, you guys need to play an hour 15 minutes or something like that. And we had 30-minute set ready because we've been supporting.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Oh my god.
So we
30-minute breakdown.
Yeah. So we threw a bunch of songs in and just made it work. And yeah, it worked out. It was great. Especially like when we played in Beijing area, that was a wild crowd. Like, that hour felt like 20 minutes and it was awesome.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
But how do you, so you're telling me you found out while you were on the tour, basically?
Yep.
So,
yep.
So, because you guys have a bunch of like electronics and orchestral stuff, and I assume stuff like backing tracks and stuff. It's not like, and even just learning an extra hour of 45 minutes of songs is a lot. Like, how does that work out?
We had to, like, we obviously keep like all the old files and all the backing tracks, so we need to figure that out on the road and make all the backing tracks on the go. So fortunately, like, we still have these songs that we don't play anymore or haven't played on this tour. So we just added them in. It's like, okay, like, let's practice it. Let's brush off the dust of it. And yeah, it worked. And it was great. But 1 hour of deathcore is
man.
I think,
whether it be breakdowns or not, man, that's like, that's too long.
Sure, like,
and for your voice too and everything, like, it's a long time. It's crazy.
Especially in China, they smoke everywhere.
Oh
everywhere.
That's not helping. That's not helping.
There was this one time, like, I was mentioning to our tour manager in China that, like, I don't want any smoke here during the show, like, not even like the stage haze and everything, because it was the third show of 1 hour sets, and I was like, and we've been flying directly next day to Japan to play another one, so like, I don't want any of this today, so I can feel somewhat rested and not fucked up. and the promoter heard no smoke, and later, like 15 minutes later, she comes by with 4 packs of cigarettes. She probably like misunderstood that I have no smokes. So she brought me cigarettes. So I was like, this is nice, but I haven't really asked for this.
Oh my god! Thank you
was a
very
nice
much
gesture.
for the intention. Yeah, thank you. But
I'm
no.
sure I've got 4 friends I can give some packs off to, but
Yeah, exactly. I hope Luca is enjoying them.
Wow, that's really good. I do have to ask, though, 'cause we were talking about China. We talked a little bit about Tokyo. How was it for you as and I feel bad every time I mention Japan, I mention anime. I know it's a stereotype thing,
Right.
but like, how was it for you, who I'm guessing really loves the culture and animes and stuff, like to be there? Actually, was that?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Like for me, it was my second time in Japan, but you never have enough Japan. So like we arrived in Tokyo like a couple hours before the show. We arrived at the venue like 1 hour 30 minutes before doors. And yeah, immediately we loaded everything in, sound checked, and we played like really in the center of Tokyo. So I was like, okay, going around, seeing places. Like I kind of remember where we are, so I was like, here, I'm gonna go here, and yeah, after those 2 shows, like I stayed over for like an extra week because like I'm
You're
already
already there. Yeah.
So I did a little bit of sightseeing and all that, and places where I haven't been. So it's really great. Like I'm already planning a next trip again. So.
And is it mind-blowing for you guys also to, you know, because it's wild having fans at the other freaking,
it's
Japan.
unreal. It's unreal. And especially like, I think it was one of the first times that I seen somebody screaming my texts word for word, and it was in Japan. And I was like, this is gas.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's just, you know, and it says a lot, I think, about you guys, you know, to be at that stage, you know what I mean? Like, because I fully remember we had this conversation before the show, but like I discovered you guys around like Hellmouth and that kind of era, and I remember thinking they should be bigger, you know what I mean? Like with all due with all due respect, I was just like, what is happening? It was, you know, and I do want to mention that we talked about that as well, but like, when you guys came in, doing that specific, you know, heavy, modern, I would call it beatdown, huge breakdowns with those vocals, I didn't hear that prior to that, to be honest. So to see all the kind of the road up to here, I feel like for a lot of people, it's like, finally, they have some, you know, like the recognition they deserve. But how was it for you guys' perspective to like all these years working? Does it feel like now finally you get this, or how does that feel?
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. But at the same time, since we work so much and we're basically either constantly touring or constantly writing, sometimes you forget to stop in that moment. Like that's for me personally, like I didn't realize like how big we became up until 2023, when I finally like was, oh shit, like like a couple of years ago we played this city for 20 people and now it's 3,000 people here. So I mean, sure, it was a Lorna Shore tour, but those people were still there. Those people still watching.
Well, dude, the fact that you're on the Lorna Shore tour,
yeah, that as well. That as well. Like, yeah, yeah.
I think it says it all too.
Like,
you guys did a few with them around then, right? Too.
Yeah. So it's like sometimes you don't even realize these things until you like stay still for a second and then like reflect on the things, and it's insane. I always forget to do that.
Hey, you gotta
No, but
stop
like
and
it-
think every once in a while, like, hey, breakdowns
Yeah,
brought me
yeah.
here, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's really cool, and I'm guessing also for you guys, you know, you did so many tours, so many, and like you're talking about Lorna and all these bands on the top of the scene right now. You know, I'm guessing you probably became friends with all of these bands too, right? Which
Yeah,
is probably awesome, at, like another awesome thing to
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
now.
Like it's wild to tour with people you looked up to when you've been young and everything, and it's crazy. Like when we did Chaos and Carnage, this was like
There's
the first moment for me.
There's the Suicide Silence Carnifex,
Suicide Silence,
right?
Carnifex.
That whole
Angel
lineup was
Maker.
stacked. Yeah.
And I was like, I dreamt of this when I was in high school, and now I'm sharing stage with these bands and talking to them on a daily basis and can call them my friends. It's absolutely unreal. And especially like I realized this there was one day of the tour where Eddie had some problems with his voice, so we stepped in, and basically every vocalist on the tour filled in for a couple of tracks with Suicide Silence, and everybody was ready. Like we picked the songs in a matter of minutes because we all on that package grew up on Suicide Silence. So we picked the songs, and it was immediately like no practice needed, no nothing. And like after I finished my parts, I was like, did I just really play Bludgeon It to Death with Suicide Silence? And I was like, this is something else.
Dude, how did you feel when you did the call out? When the song stopped and
I was so fucking stressed because every time I practiced it or tried to cover it, I fucked it up. And this was very first time I actually did it right, and it was insane. And the song even started with the Family Guy sample, and I even did the stuff that's on the demo. So I was like, this is my time. I need to do this, and I need to please the MySpace gods. So this is the moment we're doing this.
If there was one time to nail it, it was probably
exactly.
So that's cool. You know, it's nice to hear, you know, because it's so, and it's loaded because for the fans, it's like those moments are important. They're waiting, and it's not like there's some parts that are cool, but like you have other instrument, but that part, it's you. Like basically, you fuck it up. It's
you
very
fuck it up.
clear.
It's fucked up. And I was so stressed.
They couldn't. You couldn't just pull the good old point the mic to the crowd. On
Nope.
Nope. Shit, man. That's so cool, man. I mean, that kind of leads into, I guess, just like collaboration in general. Mm-hmm. I think like you. Even in your previous band, I think, you know, your music has all the stuff you've been involved has always kind of been predicated on lots of collaborations.
It's fun
on tracks and stuff. Yeah, but I'd love to kind of talk about it because I think honestly you're probably one of the bands that do it the most, like have the most people on stuff. So what's like the I know you just said, hey, it's fun, but like is there more thought to it than that? Is it just to have some homies on tracks? Like how is that for you?
Essentially, it's that all the features we have so far and so forth is people we worked with or people we know, or basically a big homie fest. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like even with Matt Heafy, like I've been talking to him a little, and then he approached me himself like, hey, you guys ever need a feat? Like hit me up. And I was like, I wanted this ever since elementary. I'm a big Trivium fan, and when he messaged me, I was like, oh, yeah, I have a song right here.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like he beat me to it. But yeah, it's just like, if you look at the features, it's mostly the bands we toured with and or about to tour or something. So it's always like, hey, let's have Kyle from Body Snatcher on the track because he's fun to hang around, he's fucking sick, and like, let's do it. And the whole, like, for me, like, I like when universes collide. Like
Lord.
I mentioned this, like, well, a lot of times when we put out Argent Justice, which has 16 features on a single track. So the main inspiration and the wow effect for me was like the 1999 Spider-Man animated series, where other Spider-Man from other universes came over to fight the Shadow Spider or whatever it was. And I was like, this is so cool. And you have this only for a couple of episodes. So let's kind of recreate this, or like Avengers Endgame, the end scene where every fucking Marvel character is in the huge battle. How sick is that? How can we make this in music? Collaborations. And that's how I approach the feats in general, that I never send lyrics to the guests. I want them. I don't talk like, hey, you should do this word for word, or you should use this pattern, this and that. Never. I want your input, because that's what we want. We want you on a track. We don't want your name on a track. We want you on a track for a reason.
It's a good approach too, because like, and again, I know there's different ways to do that, right? But I'm just saying, like, for a vocalist, it's like, do your thing. It's going to come more naturally type
exactly,
thing.
Exactly.
They can be in their own world type thing. So.
Yeah. And especially like we always pick somebody that is distinct, you know, like even on Argent Justice, it's 16 vocalists, but every single one
you can tell
sounds different. Nobody sounds the same on that track. And I think that's cool.
That's my biggest gripe with a lot of features, if I'm being honest, is the fact that they'll get like a big name or like some dude that's sick, but like kind of just sounds like the vocalist that's already in the band. Yeah. Like sometimes you have to like look in the YouTube comments for someone to give you the timestamp where the dude came in, and I'm like, what was even the point? You know, it's like, as you said, you know, for some people it's clearly like it's about the name, right?
Yeah.
It's you know what it reminded me of a little bit is you know, we don't see that in deathcore much, which I think was a good idea, but like in rap music in general, you see collectives and stuff like that. And one of my personal favorite songs back then, not like a huge rap person, but like I'm always gonna remember there was a track with like Tyler the Creator and tons of other who would came on the beat, and I've never remembered the name of it, but it's so sick, and everybody sounds unique and different, and it's like you listen to one song, but you're into all these different worlds every single time someone comes in. So you can listen to it 50 billion times, and it always, you know, it's a different feeling. You pick up on different things. So I'm guessing it's similar. It's kind of similar
like,
with that.
I'm listening to rap a lot, and there it is completely common to even like have the same person on multiple tracks or on multiple albums. Like you go back to let's say, I don't know, like 50 Cent, Eminem, and they would do vice versa or something like that. So it's completely normal to do features, and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes adds another extra layer.
It's almost weird how the deathcore scene, I think specifically, has kind of like put a focus on like vocal features. Like that's like like a thing that has like, I don't know, like a term that has more importance to it than, it's just a thing. But I think a lot of bands are, the vocal feature on this, like it's a highlight or it's a thing rather than just like it's just collaboration,
Yeah, like I mean, it would be weird if you have a drummer feature on a track, like you can't really tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we did, for example, when we did Exophil 2.0, that was like a full song collaboration where Howie from Within Destruction did also the solo and restructured the song. We changed the drums and we also like switched on vocals throughout the whole track, so it wasn't just like, okay, here's your 16 bars, do your part and fuck off. It was a whole song. So that's what I like.
And you guys were touring together. You guys were able to play the track. Like
exactly,
I think there's like that cool kind of stuff.
That's the coolest thing too. When you see the vocalist going at, like, people are always going crazy for that, right? Like when it's your feat and you go on stage with, there's just something about that. For a fan to see. I don't have any examples right now, but like for example, you see Signs of the Swarm. It's like it's your band, but and then you love Distant and you see you going to stage. It's like it's the same feeling that you explain with Spider-Man, with the other universe and everything. It's cool to see that it's crossovers like that, like everybody wins in those situations. It's fun for you guys, it's fun for the fan. Like there's no losing on that. It's just sick.
Exactly.
There's I just gotta say it, the Alex Arian he's done quite a few features over the years. He's pretty big on that.
Always sick.
but the one he did for you guys is, I think, like the best he's ever sounded ever. Dude, he taps into this weird, like, he's always had like a hardcore-ish vocal, but he taps into this kind of slam hardcore like flow that's like super different than anything else he's ever done. And when I heard that track, it's like, okay, there's like something here. This is fucking awesome.
Dude, like when he sent it over, I was like, holy shit. Like, that blew me away. I was like, I didn't expect this. And it was really hard to learn that part, to play it live. So hands down, Alex, dude, crazy. Like the patterns, everything, like how he worded it and everything. I was like, I would never thought of this that way. Like hands down, great fucking vocalist.
I think he kind of has like two phases to the feature. So I think even people who kind of like know, like he kind of like switches up in the middle, which I think regardless of where you're coming from in relation to him or you guys, like it's just surprising all of a sudden for him to like switch up in the middle of the feature to like a slightly like a different style and a different flow all of a sudden. So I don't know. I just thought that was such a clever part in the song, man.
We met again when they played Prague, like in October or something, or November, and we had a talk about this a little, and he said like that was the first feature that he recorded by himself.
Okay.
Like with no producer or anything, so it was like his first try to do this. So I was like, damn, that's an honor, and to kill this on the first try like this. Hands down.
So sick.
That's awesome, man, dude. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because you were kind of mentioning, when the universes collide, like live and stuff, and Alex is one of those guys because he's done so many features. I think almost every show that I go to, I'll bump into him, and like 1 out of 2, he's doing a feature on stage because he's done a feature with the band that's there, right? So it's always cool to see. Recently, he was Aborted came through here and he did his feature, and like you said, and like the crowd was like, oh my god, that's so sick, it's always cool.
Yeah, it's that moment, and people will remember that show thanks to that as well.
Yeah, and he's a really good example. Like, since we're talking about Alex, I think he's a really good example of just like he did so much. He could have been someone who's like, I'm cool, like fairly easily with all he did, and he's like the most humble, stoked, cool, down to earth person who just wants to support the scene, and I
Yeah.
think he's a great example of how to be, in a position like
he's
that.
the OG.
Yeah,
He's
the
the
Godfather.
OG. Yes.
Type thing. I'm not saying he's old. Just saying he's the Godfather.
You guys, okay, you just scouring through photos and such. I always scroll back the Instagram feed.
Yeah.
I look. You have a lot of Disfiguring the Goddess merch. We got to talk about it.
I saw one shirt. Oh, okay.
You have a hoodie. You got a cap.
Yeah. You're right,
I caught it.
right.
I caught it. But also, you guys, because we're kind of talking collaborations and stuff too. Like you got, Big Chocolate to do those remixes on the deluxe edition. That was so fucking cool to see. How had you been talking to Cam for a bit, or was that kind of all at once?
It happened all at once at that point. We had one remix first, and there's let's try one with Cameron. I used to listen to Commissioner. I used to watch that guy's videos and everything, and it's again, MySpace. It's where we all basically grew up, and Cameron was a household name for especially Disfiguring the Goddess, I Declare Goddess, and all that. So let's do this because it's sick. He even did some vocals on that remix, added some bits into it, and I was I didn't really expect this from you. I expected to do a remix of the thing, but he actually added the vocals in as well, and I was this is so cool.
And since we're on the topic of influence, MySpace and stuff like that, I would be curious to know maybe you more as a vocalist, as your biggest, and I'm sure there's more than one, but who were the people who kind of gave you that urge of doing vocals and performing and being a frontman?
One and only Mitch Locker.
Mr. Mitch.
There's no other answer.
Oh, dude, you're saying that to the right. I mean, I don't think I can talk about him more than I'm already doing. But yeah, no, I get,
what was it about him for you specifically?
Yeah.
The pure rawness of him, and at the same time he was scary but also charismatic, and the way he worked the crowd, the way he wrote, and everything, the way he sounded, it was just okay, I want to be like this one day. I want to do this, the Locker Stomp and everything. It's so fucking cool. I don't know how many times I watched the Golden Gods Award or whatever it's called, where they played in suits. I was this is so sick. I had so many videos saved of the live shows, and this stomp is so cool, and this and that. I was one day.
And you did, to be honest. I mean, that's what you're doing, so it clearly
it's
worked.
Insane.
And especially so to go back to really quick to the conversation we had when we were talking about performing with Suicide Silence, knowing now that Mitch Locker is it makes it even, when
full circle.
It's you're performing there with and on the pod we discussed that they bring his the bar,
his riser,
the riser and everything.
Yeah.
So for you did one of the most classic songs, so talk about full circle, thing.
It was big shoes to fill for sure.
The biggest I would say probably,
I'm to this day I'm honored and thankful that to all the Suicide Silence boys that it was possible to do, and that we could have been there to help. So give back to people that made us, basically.
So sick. Yeah, that's incredible. Shout out to Eddie too. We talk about big shoes to fill and stuff like that, and people 100%. Love to complain, but just imagine the pressure and
respect. Big respect to Eddie.
Oh yeah, shout out Eddie.
What we're kind of talking about MySpace. Were you brought up MySpace a few times? Were you big on MySpace? Were you the kind of guy to kind of dabble into all the underground bands?
I haven't had MySpace at all.
Okay.
Oh,
I haven't had MySpace at all, but like I was a blog guy. I was looking at all the blogs and everything, and this band logo looks sick. I'm gonna check this out. Oh, this artwork looks sick. I'm gonna check it out. So I went like band by band, and I found so many good bands, and that basically fucking By Blood and Iron.
Yes, sir.
I Shot the Sheriff. Fucking As They Drown. So many good bands, and yeah, like it was the only thing where you could actually find bands, and especially like over here in Slovakia, we haven't had a scene at all. Like back in the days with Shrill Whispers, we've been the only deathcore band here, so it was really hard to come by any deathcore in general. So this was my go-to. Like every day after school, I would just browse and check whatever it's there, put it on my iPod, and just jam.
Was it like I guess for you, like was it websites from kind of like where you're from, or was it kind of just the same, like the deathcore is sexy and the Daily Mosh and
deathcore is sexy, duckcore blog.
Duckcore, there we go. Were you in the forum too?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's fighting with people in the forum.
I didn't participate. I didn't participate at all.
Yeah,
but
there was
big squeals and breakdowns and stuff like this.
Yeah. Before they all became Facebook pages, rest in peace, unfortunately. But the blogspot days were definitely like, it's what came after like being able to just browse through top 8s, and going through bands and stuff. But just being able to scroll through and see the new uploads from the day every single day. Like I would, even if it was like a super busy day, I would make it a point to scroll down till the last thing that I had seen, just to, for sure, make sure I didn't miss a thing.
For me, it was this, and then breakdown compilations on YouTube, top 10 best face melting breakdowns.
Which was really interesting, right? Because back then, those top breakdowns, it was a mix of metalcore and deathcore, right? You would hear like August Burns Red, and then like freaking Whitechapel. You're like, oh my god,
it's like Structures, North Lane. Then you would have Hester Prime, Rose Funeral, and it was just a mix of things. And thanks to these compilations, I also found so many good bands like Crimson Armada, like the Revelations breakdown. God fucking damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, it was good. And the blogs too. I fully remember finding bands just because of the like names that I didn't even see one. And I'm just like, what is that? Like you said, you see the logo. That looks like something with breakdowns.
Exactly.
And you click and you're like,
Yeah, and back in the days, like nowadays, like let's face the facts, like there's a new band every second day. Like prime example over here. Yeah, like prime example, I just dropped a Slam EP.
That you recorded like in 10 minutes.
Yeah, like there's so much more possibilities now to even record and do everything yourself, that back in the days you only could have done it at a studio or somebody who could actually record, and there were no tutorials. And now even for vocalists, you have 10 millions of vocal coaches, 7 million courses, 10,000 videos of how to do vocals. Back in the days when I was starting, there were 2 videos. There was one where it was grunt, big squeal, roar, and that's it, and no explanation whatsoever.
Nope. They're just doing it.
So everything was raw dogging the whole deathcore. And it was also easier to filter and find new bands because there weren't 45 releases a day. And it was really easier to go through everything. Now I don't remember when I went on Facebook, Spotify, whatever, to like, hey, I feel like finding a new band and listening to it. Only time I did this was with Psycho Frame, and I'm super fucking thankful.
I'm really glad you did. I'm really glad you did. Actually. That was the right one. If there was one, one to find, I would say it was probably them. So great.
Shout out Psycho Frame. Keep it up. Keep up the fucking legacy.
Hey, we gotta see some distant fucking Psycho Frame tours going on.
I hope so.
That would be great. That would be great. With no van breaking during the tour. That would be
that would be awesome.
When you the second, just look if there's like a doll or a voodoo thing before.
Yeah. Like we are super cautious now.
Okay. Perfect. That's there you go. And real quick, because you talked about vocals and stuff like that, do you recall, like, did it take you a long time to find your tone, your vocals? Because as you said back then, we didn't have any freaking tutorial pretty much. So do you remember?
It took me probably like 2 or 3 years to like figure out, and total of like 6 to be kind of where I am, and then just build on top of it. But yeah, nowadays it's like you can technically become a vocalist in 2 weeks. But yeah, it even looks that way, like, to be honest. Like cookie cutter vocalists. I'm gonna be calling out cookie cutter vocalists.
No, but dude, you have a point though, because like it's one thing to do vocals, it's another thing. Like, sure, you can sound a specific way or just kind of emulate something, but to sound like yourself with a lot of power and your own tone, and when you're on the track, people recognize you just from hearing it. It's another step, though. To be fair, maybe you can do that in 2 weeks, but I don't think it's a common thing. You know what I mean?
I would say it takes nowadays it takes not a lot of time to learn, but to master it, for sure. Like, you have to hone that craft. That's for sure. And
people overlook songwriting too. I'll just say that. A lot of is that cool. You can become a vocalist in 2 weeks, but if you don't have any good ideas in terms of songwriting, it's going to be dog shit regardless.
Creativity, patterns, the way you do things. Because I think sometimes it's fairly easy to recognize even who they're emulating. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna hear someone, you're like, okay,
100%.
You know, that person likes this person, so.
And like. That, I think, like, it's like a blessing with a curse that I learned this all by myself without any vocal lessons or something, that to this day I don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm just thinking of like, okay, I want to do this, I want to make this sound, and I'm gonna just fuck around and find out.
Oh, and just to be clear, you do have your tone too, right? Like, I mean, we talked about this before the show. You do. You actually do. I mean, it's fairly easy to recognize. But you said it though. We're talking years of mastering, doing your thing, and I'm pretty sure from an outside perspective, if you're new to, maybe you don't make that much of a difference. It's just like, okay, that's heavy vocals. But to anyone who's been listening to that for quite some time, I think it's fairly easy to tell the difference between someone who has his voice or her voice, or someone who doesn't. So it's still there, you know. So like even to this day, I feel like there's still like room to grow, learn new things and do new things. And especially like on the new album, like I tried some new things that I never tried before, and it worked out. Like in Loveless Suffering, I tried that yelly sort of more hardcore approach for vocals, which I usually do in my other band. And first time I did it in English, and it was fun. And since I still am learning and trying out the stuff, even after those 14 years of me doing vocals, or 15 now, for fuck's sake. There's always something new that can surprise me. Like, okay, like I didn't know that I can do this, or like this sound exists.
It keeps it interesting, right? Like it would kind of suck ultimately if, you know, I got it figured out and then that's it, you know, like
you can't stay in the comfort zone, that's for sure, especially in deathcore, which is really like vocally driven, and mostly like the first thing that people notice there is like the vocals and this whole cult of vocalists. It's you need to stand out, but not for the sake of standing out.
Yeah. That's I always talk about this. I think it's easy to stand out, technically speaking. You can do dumb shit and stand out, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be good, you know?
Yeah, like that's more what I mean, like on the whole vocal Olympics that's happening. Like if somebody done that first, sick. Lorna Shore's great example where it's executed absolutely great, and then you have cookie cutter vocalists who try the same thing because it worked for them. Find your own fucking thing. Like, just do it. Just do it and find yourself, and don't copy paste something because it's trendy. Be yourself. And that's why I don't participate in the vocal Olympics. I refuse to do any mumbo jumbo, because that's not me. Like if the track asks for it, if it genuinely asks, like, okay, do something here, I'll do it. But I prefer the rawness and the actual emotion, actual human on the track, on the vocals to do it, but not for the sake of doing it just to have a viral moment.
Moment, yeah.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of bands are doing these days, and I don't like it. Like, just be real.
Yeah, we had this conversation not too long ago, I think last week, and like as much as there's certain things that over time is, you know, it's timeless, it's still good. I think this specific thing is going to be looked at in like 15 years as just like, what was that? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure people were just going to be like, what the hell were they doing? So
like that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, when they see something's doing good, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to work out for you as well. So why to copy it? Like, they done it perfectly, and why copying it? Because it's been done, and it's been done great. If it wasn't done great, it wouldn't be how it is. And that's not just case of Lorna Shore, but anything that was the initial start of whatever, if somebody picks it up and does the same thing just because it worked out for band XY, doesn't mean it will work out for band YZ just because.
Well,
because
it was
it's
interesting.
Unnatural too, right?
And it was interesting the first time around because it was the first time around,
yes,
right? Like,
exactly,
it's been done, and we don't need the Walmart version. It
was natural. People forget that, like, when Will did that, no one in the band was just like, "This is gonna be our moment. We're doing that for." They just did it because, like, it worked. They were probably laughing together. Oh, dude, that's pretty sick. Let's just do it. It was natural. It was a moment with the band, and people latched onto it. Same thing as Job for a Cowboy with 2 Minute of a Machine. They're just like, that's pretty cool. Let's just do it. And then it worked. But if you redo it, it's done.
It worked because it was real. It wasn't forced. It wasn't forced there.
Exactly. So, and people can feel that, right? Like, I feel like we overlook, like, people are not stupid. Like, people, even when you're listening to something, you can feel if it's natural, if it's just like, oh, they're doing that for that. Like, the fans can feel it too. So I don't feel like you should ever do that. Like, if it feels right, as you said, if it feels right and it's natural in your song, by all means do it. But if the conversation within your band is, oh, yeah, but people are gonna clip it. We're gonna be. I don't think that's the way to write something. Honestly,
and I just want to jump in real quick. Sorry to also just the caveat to all this is I think you're one of the most versatile vocalists in the deathcore scene right now. Sorry for glazing, but like,
thank you so
much. But I mostly bring this up because a lot of these vocal Olympics, it's kind of like to show that off, to like
Yes.
show off the fact
Range.
that they're versatile and have this crazy range, instead of just doing it tastefully, right?
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is where I think you take it. Like, it's like, again, it's about serving the song, it's about trying new things, it's about doing your own thing, and as much as you can do 1,000 fucking crazy different tones,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be on display every single second that you're
Exactly.
doing vocals,
Like,
right? So that, I think that's where people
especially,
conflate
like,
it too.
Like, looking at the bigger picture is you have a full album. You don't have to put all of it in one track. And you don't have to put all of it in every fucking track of the album.
Look, I
So-
can do everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly.
I can
It's
I
like-
can do everything. All the
Exactly.
sounds.
Yeah, like, what's the point? Like, that kills the whole purpose of the entire song. Like, it's the band, it's not just the vocalist.
It's your approach as well, you know, like, and it ties up the entire conversation we had today, which is like, there's a lot of care, there's a lore when you build something, you know, as a band. So like,
yeah.
I don't think for you it would even make sense to do something like that, because it wouldn't
Yeah.
be natural, wouldn't serve the story, wouldn't serve anything. It would kind
Yeah.
of be mechanical, just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm doing these things. So it's, as I think Dom has a really good point, because the thing is, you could do that fairly easily if you wanted
Yeah, like,
to. I think
that's the thing I can say. Like, I can do those things and above, but why would I if it's not needed? Like, sure, some viral TikTok numbers are great, but frankly, to be honest, I have a bone to pick with TikTok bands.
Oh yeah, I don't-
It's the thing, like, if you create music just for a viral moment, it's nice to see the numbers, it's nice to see million views, million likes, but the moment people scroll past that, they only know that moment, they don't even remember the song name, they don't even know your band. You might have millions of streams on that single song, but if you play a show in your hometown and 20 people show up, that kind of fucking sucks, if you ask me. So it's not everything. Like, it's not everything. Those internet numbers are not everything. Like, you have to go out and deliver something to people that's not just 15-second clip.
exactly. It's a tool. It's a boost.
It's
right?
a great tool. It's a great tool. But
great.
out of that million people, let's say maybe 1,000 gonna click on your band.
If that, you know, like,
If that.
So, and I think you have a super important point, because I see that a little bit, even YouTubers sometimes, right? They're going to make one video. This one has maybe like 5 million views,
Yeah.
and saying, you're like, wow, you could think, oh, this is it, they're going to make it. And then next thing you see, the other videos maybe don't perform as well. And they have total like 10K maybe, which is
Yep.
okay. But a band like Lorna Shore, what people tends to forget is they've been around since 2009. They're amazing
Exactly.
musicians. So what they did capitalize on that. It helped, but they had the chops to perform and to be there, because
Yeah,
if you
they've been around. They deserve.
They were ready.
Everything they're getting.
and they were ready for it, right? Because
Yeah.
the other part that people forget, you need to deliver now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have that moment, great. Now there's people who wants to hear it. There's people who want to see.
Now
what's
China wants to
next.
see it for an hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah, after smoking 4 packs. So that's, that's really important. So that's the part that people forget. And thanks for saying it, by the way, Alan. I think it's a really important point, because people chase that without even understanding that that's not all it takes. That's not everything. You won't have like that's, oh, I'm all set for life now. I have one viral moment. Yeah, no, the real work is starting, my friend. So
yeah, especially like in this case, like the boys grinded. They went through shit and they never stopped, and it showed that they are a real band. They didn't pop up just because of that one thing. For sure, as you said, it helped, but they've been a band. They aren't some industry plant. That wasn't a band that was made in a studio just to be viral band. That band
Exactly.
is genuine.
Yeah.
And a lot of people see this and think like, oh, all we have to do is to do this. No, fuck no. These boys been grinding for 10 years.
Exactly. And again, people overlook that because they see a band doing well now and they just
Yeah.
assume they popped out of nowhere. Oh,
Yeah,
cool, that
exactly.
they're so lucky. And I hate seeing
Yeah.
that. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like they've toured for years, and even people look and they see Will as a new vocalist. He had
Oh,
bands before,
yeah,
has experience,
exactly.
he did everything. Like, to me, it was the right band to have what they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like they're great musicians. You know, the other day we were talking about their freaking bassist who plays drum. Like, all this band
Yeah,
is just
it's
crazy
insane.
talented. And it's well deserved, you know. But I feel like from an outside
100%.
perspective, people see that and they're like, oh, so TikTok, no, it
No.
helped. It's great.
People are learning the wrong lesson here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh, we're gonna get that with a moment. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think. I really don't. I really don't think that's all it takes. So good point. Really good point.
Yeah, I remember
go
when
for
we
it, sorry.
played with Carnifex in like 2015 with Shrill Whispers, and I'm pretty sure I was the only person in a country which had a Lorna Shore shirt that I bought from the States, and Cameron and I think either Scott, they were like, look, they know Lorna Shore over here. And that was at the time where Maleficent was out.
Yeah.
That's so good. Sorry.
And and they started taking photos with me like, hey, people over here in Europe know Lorna Shore. And that was 10 years ago. So take that as an example, like how long they've been a band and how long they've been fucking influential.
MySpace was around. Just that should tell you everything you need to know. MySpace, they were on freaking MySpace and they're here. So it's not, and it's great. I mean, I wish to any bands to have like that kinds of moment. It's great. It's awesome. But
Yeah, absolutely.
it's also a matter of, are you even ready for the moment?
Exactly.
You know, that's the other question as well. It's great if you have it, but I feel like it could also be your downfall quite easily.
Absolutely.
If you're not ready, and then if the spotlight is directly on you and you don't deliver, or you're out of that, it can be done as well. So
yeah, it's like how fast do you rise? The
faster the fall. Yeah.
Faster the fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
there you go.
So it's not for everybody, for sure.
Nope.
I'd love to kind of land the plane here. I'd have 3 little rapid fire things to ask you if you're okay with that. We
Sure.
like doing the ending segments here from time to time. I had some comments on the Instagram post. I got fed some stuff. We're gonna roll with the punches here. What's someone asked me to ask you how to say boat in your native language.
It's loď, and it should follow do piči choď. And whoever can just translate it. I'm just gonna leave you there.
Okay. Okay. Talk to me a little bit about getting paid in Genshin Impact currency for your design work.
Oh, we're going there. Damn, you did your research. Yeah, like it was during COVID. I was playing a lot, and I was a friend of mine did a similar thing, but for Apex chests.
Okay.
And I was like, well, like I'm home and I have loads of free time and I'm playing a lot. Like, pay me in Genshin currency and we're good.
But it was like, to be clear, it was like half off pricing basically if you bought the currency versus just paying you outright.
Yeah,
so it's like, let's get a deal real quick so I can have this currency in my game already.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was this like it was a season where you could get some stuff for the first time and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, like let's for the people who don't know, Genshin Impact is really a gacha game where you just a lottery for fucking characters. So I was like, yeah, I need this character. Don't really, but I did.
But you
I
do.
did.
Yeah. I don't have that. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I help you, you help me. That's kind of thing.
I mean, look, I was hooked on Genshin for a minute, and I played a shit ton of Honkai Star Rail, so I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like I played Genshin. I have over 600 hours in that game, so
yeah, I feel your pain.
yeah.
Last little thing here. Why do you leave the heating on when you leave for tour?
Because I want to return to a nice warm place. Fucking Rene.
He's the worst. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, like if like we slept at my place, and if the heating wasn't on, everybody would be cold. Like, why would I?
You were looking out for your boys, okay?
Yeah, like why would I turn it off? Like, I pay the same price for utilities whether it's not on or whether it's on. So I'm like, might as well.
I mean, that's fair.
I have my pet parrot at home, so I wouldn't leave him in a cold.
No, it's probably bad if he's in the cold. Like, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm guessing they need like
they need
temperature.
stable temperature.
But I'm guessing he needs to be fed too.
Yeah. Like
I'm assuming he's not staying there while you're on tour with no one to feed him.
No. Like, fortunately, like my cousin literally lives next door.
Okay.
So he comes over and checks out for him. Shout out my cousin.
Oh, so you're telling me he could turn the heating on the day before you guys roll up into town?
True. That's
okay,
true.
Just checking.
Good point.
All right, well, dude, Alan, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man. I know it was a long day for you. It's kind of late for you too, so I do appreciate you.
I'm nocturnal. I'm nocturnal, so it's fine. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I was about to watch his animes and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. So, okay, there you go. Speaking of which, I'm saying it in the episode. I don't care. We are planning to do some sort of roundtable with the anime people in deathcore. So of course you're gonna have to be there. I remember talking about
this earlier. I have to be there.
You're gonna have to be there, you know. And it's been every single time I think that we even just mentioned doing that. People in the comments are like, yeah, Alan from this didn't need to be there. So it's been said. Yeah. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be nerdy as it gets. But it's going to be fun. So
great. I'm already looking forward. Ever since the day one you mentioned it, I was like, we have to do this, and I'm already stoked.
We really need to make it happening.
Yeah, we're due for it. We've been talking about this for like a year, so we gotta get on that.
And we've got the right people too, you know. Yeah. We're lucky enough to have anime people in our community. So
All right. Well, have a great rest of your night, my man, and we'll keep in touch. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Talk to you soon.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.